And lastly, I want to talk about my leadership veteran, and idol, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, right? I've had to do a study on Franklin. He stands out as a leader. Franklin came from an elite family, right? He was the only son of that marriage. His father was rich, right? But his father died at some point in time, relatively early. But it was set up to do well, right? He came from an elite family, came from the Roosevelt lineage. His mother was Sarah Roosevelt, that came from a Delano family. So the name Delano in the middle comes from the mother. And he was married to his distant cousin, Eleanor Roosevelt. She's very popular, probably one of the most active first ladies that ever been, But the thing about Franklin was that even though he was set up to succeed, life hit him the wrong way, right? While he was the secretary of the Navy, on one of his stores, he caught polio. And that polio incapacitated his legs. He became crippled, right? And he went about looking for healing, but he never got healed. He was crippled, and he was never healed from that crippleness. He had one of two choices to make. He could either have given up, say, oh, the end of my life, sorry me, I cannot become anything anymore, right? But he chose otherwise. That is why he stands out. He chose otherwise. Irrespective of his crippled nature, he chose to still make something out of his life. He chose to still go after his vision, his goals, right? He came back and contested for the governorship of New York, and he won. He was the 44th governor of New York, right? That was unheard of, because in those Victorian times, they were not that pitiful towards handicap. But with his handicap nature, he managed his publicity. He learned how to stand up, leaning on someone. He did everything, and he won. He worked, he won. He became the 44th governor of New York. Not only that, he went ahead to also contest for the presidency of the United States, and he won. He won. Not only that, he won. He's the only one in history that to have won to become president of the United States 4 times. The record 4 times. He won that presidency 4 times. He ran 3 full terms as the president of the United States, the only one that's ever done that. After him, they had to put in legislation that people cannot run more than twice. But he ran 3 full times and would have ran 4 full times, but he died. He died after winning the 4th term in office, right? He was the chief person that fought against Germany, right? America was the chief country that fought against Germany in the Second World War. Right, he championed that. He was a president through the Second World War, through the Second World War. He was a leader amongst every other person, including Stanley of Russia. America supplied ammunition to every country during his tenure for the Second World War, right? But that was in spite of the fact that he was not supposed to have been there. He was crippled. There were a lot of crippled close to the White House people that gave excuses why they did not become something. But that was not him. He did not give in to his handicap. Rather, in spite of his handicap, he pushed to fulfill the vision and dream of his life. Amen. And these are just examples to tell us that we can succeed also, right? We don't have any excuse not to succeed. We don't have any excuse not to make it, irrespective of our background, what has happened to us, is that we can succeed. We have too many examples of people that did not have the chance that we have, and they made it. We too can make it. And I did not want to go beyond that, The next thing in the book is talking about having an independent mindset. I didn't want to put too much into one session, so that we can digest and get something. So we'll take that next week, talking about an independent mindset. That any question on what we've looked at so far? Contribution also.
No question for me. It's just that his determinedness to still compete, even though he was crippled. And if it was me, I think I will probably make excuses and give up. And I'm not crippled. I can walk. I have pain in my knees, but then I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. But for him to not even be able to walk and be crippled, just like Texas governor, and still be able to be in office and make decisions, it just shows that their willingness not to quit.
Yes.
Which I need to regulate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We all need to, we all need to. That's in Victor's spirit. It's being able to not allow your soul to be conquered by life. That is living above the happenings of life. You can only do that if you get involved with life. You have to take up a challenge of life. You have to say, yes, I have all of these disabilities, but in spite of these disabilities, I can make it, and I will make it and push through. Kevin, anything from your side? Kevin, anything you want to add? Oh, all right. You have a problem with unmuting your system. All right, no problem. No problem. You have technical issues just like me. Chidi, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so I mean, I know about Roosevelt, knowing him as the wave chair president, and what he went ahead to achieve. There is this guy, something Jovic, the guy, I can't remember one of those, what do you call it, East Europe or whatever, the guy that was born without limbs. And about what the guy can do. He can swim, he can do virtually, and he preaches. When I look at him, I realize that my inability is actually me putting a barrier on myself. Absolutely. That I can't swim is actually me putting it upon myself. That I can't see is actually me blinding myself. Because we've had people who had made the world better, who I think in all reasonable assessment, what I have is like 1,000 times what they have. But what they've achieved, I've not even got into 0.001% of it. So I believe if we can remove that mirage, that impediment, self-imposed impediment, I think the sky will just be the starting point for us.
Absolutely. Thanks. Absolutely. Thanks. Yeah. We have so many examples, we have so many examples. I started my page, Let's Talk with Aki, just because we had someone who used to follow me online, at least reads what I put, and suddenly I wasn't seeing him, and I asked about after him, and I was told that he had committed suicide, right? That's years ago, and that's the only reason I started that page, just to tell people you don't have any reason to commit suicide, right? And I was looking at people like Roosevelt. That's how first time I wrote on him, and a few other people, just examples of people that had it worse and they survived through it, It's so, we have no excuse. Irrespective of where we find ourselves, we can push through and make it. It's a laziness of the mind is what makes us give up, So hopefully as we go along, those are the things we want to talk about, So it's not just about you having a business, life itself is a business. We just want to talk about the business of your life. How are you managing the business of your life? You don't have to have a company, right? It's the business of your life. So that's what we're talking about. So hopefully we can all learn, encourage one another, and become better, better managers, of our life, this life that we're being given. That's the whole intent. All right.